here's a little recap of day 4. To start the day, Judge Erasmus lifted the ruling and thus allowed Colonel Cibola, the third state witness, to be shown on camera during the finalization of his testimony. Cibola would continue to illustrate the efforts of the police and the K9 unit in attempting to locate Joshlin after her disappearance. What raised the most eyebrows, though, was the statement he made about how Kelly, during the investigation, besides being nonchalant, which was odd in itself, she had allegedly stated, and I quote, "My child made me famous."
Yeah, those were her very own words.
I'm sure that everyone who heard it in court today was as disturbed as he was at the time. He went on to state that when a safe space had to be arranged to protect her from the community, she was more interested in not being separated from Buta, Apollos, than she was in what was going to happen to her other 2 children. With his testimony complete, off to Middelport, the court officials, prosecutors, and accused went. This was part of their in loco inspection. So for those who aren't aware, an inspection in loco is when the court physically looks at a location or area where a crime is alleged to have taken place. As one can imagine, the community were not impressed.
Shouting, screaming, where's my mommy? Yeah. You know the heartbroken thing is that child is looking for no one, not for one of us who's supporting this case. Yes. That child where she is looking for that woman, for that woman called Kelly, who's the mother. What is it what the child calls first? How when he's in trouble, ma'am, he calls to his mother.
It honestly seems at this point that everyone, including her old neighbors, are showing more concern for the missing little girl than she ever has.
It was the first time that Kelly appeared to be at least a little taken aback. During the visit, the public were kept at a safe distance and her leg shackles were removed. The situation, however, soon became tense and Kelly was escorted back to the vehicle, where she then seemed to have a breakdown of sorts.
Evident it wasn't the homecoming she was expecting.
Back at court, Kelly's legal counsel cross-examined Colonel Cibola. With his time on the stand complete, the first investigating officer, Sergeant Mayor Milstein from the Vredenburg Family Violence, Child Protection and Offences Unit, then began his testimony, detailing how he had come on board and began his investigation on the 20th of February. This was the day after Joshlin had been reported missing. When entering her space on the day, he had observed how the residence she lived in was subdivided into 2 rooms. There was 1 bed in the area used as a bedroom, and there was an additional lounge area. He also noted that it was incredibly messy. It was heard how the K9 unit had identified a pillowcase and bedsheet with stains that resembled blood. During the interview, Kelly had been relatively calm, whilst Apollos, Buta, was described as being neutral. The investigating officer's testimony will continue tomorrow.